All right, let's get going in our understanding of how to use our odorless kit. This is a kit that I picked up at Sally's, and I wanted to make sure that I point out, obviously what's in the kit. So this is a dehydrator, and it also comes with a polymer in pink and a white polymer. And then here is the monomer. And I specifically wanted to make note that it says nail liquid and it says odorless because this is what State Board requires for it to say. Same thing with the acid-free primer. They want it to be a low smelling. This is a dapping dish. This is a 100 and 180 grit file and a glue stick, some nail tips. We have white as well as the full well natural nails, and then here's some forms, instructions, most importantly. We definitely want to follow the manufacturer's, instructions. Every kit is going to be different, so you must read the instructions. And then here is the acrylic brush that they provide. Next, let's grab some paper towel, and then let's make sure that we have a clean towel on the table, and that we're not working directly on top of our table. So I like to put, like the case that comes in, or some type of cardboard or something, so you're not damaging your towels, nor are you damaging your table. I'm actually opening up the brush that it came with the kit, because oftentimes there's like starch inside the brush that they use to kind of keep the bristles together. So open that up, and I'm going to basically place a puncture in the top of the odorless monomer, and I'm just using a dotting tool to do that. And that is just so that the product doesn't just like gush out. So you have some type of control. And then I'm going to get my dapping dish. And it's just always important to just work with the product that you're going to use. So you don't need a whole bunch. Just squeeze out a little bit. We're just doing one nail, so you don't need a lot. And I'm going to begin to start the process of what I call seasoning your brush. And that's just getting product in there, so it's used to the product, because like I said, they put a lot of starches. But I did want to make note that the brushes that come with this particular kit is not the highest in quality. I'm taking off these little bristle hairs because they were loose. I can tell that they were coming out, and I don't want that to come onto the nail once I started working with it. But make sure that you don't touch it with your bare hands, that you actually use like the paper towel or some type of tweezer or something like that. But as you can see, there's bristles hairs in there. And so I'm wanting to pull that out and get it out the way. Okay, so this is just a part of like seasoning this brush. It doesn't always happen. I typically use brushes that are made of Kolinsky hairs. But anywho, it's what comes with the kit. And to be honest, you all, don't worry about necessarily getting the highest quality when you're trying to do this. What you want to do is work with what you have and be comfortable with working with what you have. So that way, on the day of the exam, you're not trying to figure out something new. Okay, you need to be very comfortable. All right, so I'm content with how I structured it out. And so I'm going to change out my paper towel because, yeah, that won't work. So I get a fresh paper towel, and I'm placing it back over the top of the kit, making sure my brush stays smooth and flat so it's easy to work with. And for the benefit of this video, I'm going to use the white monomer, or I'm sorry, the white polymer, so that way it'll actually show up on screen. because the pink tends to be a little translucent that comes in this kit. So, and I'm going to grab out a tip, and I already have my little nail holder that I'm going to use. I'm pointing to the fact that the size number, I say use a size 5. It fits better in these little practice fingers. I wanted to move my polymer out of the way because I don't want dust particles to get in there. So I'm starting to remove the shine, which this is a way that you can do this, right? When you're just practicing, you can just remove the shine, hold the nail in place. You don't have to glue it down, especially if you only have one practice finger. And then you can just, start practicing on top of this part once you remove the shine, okay? So I gave you that. That's one way that you can do it. Here is another way, and this is actually the requirement for when you begin to prepare for a state board. This is actually how you're going to have to do it according to the present instructions, okay? So they require you to place a tip, like a pre-applied tip. So before you get to the state board location, they require you to do this. And I'm going to remove the shine from the natural, I'm saying natural nail. I mean plastic nail. I'm going to place some glue on there, get the dust off, then place the glue on there, and then apply the tip, okay? Now, instead of working from the base like we would normally do on a real person's nail, I'm going to get it really secure in there, push it all the way back, and then I'm just going to place glue around the cuticle area because this is a practice nail. My main thing is I want to make sure that it is secure and that it doesn't go anywhere. And then I'm going to use my quick dryer spray and make sure that it stays in place. Now, I'm telling you to do this before you get to the actual location because that quick dry spray is not allowed at the testing center, okay? So you must do this before you get to the testing center. I'm going to just take some scissors and cut the nail. And then I'm going to finally put the top on my polymer so no dust can get in there because I got a larger file so that I can shape it. Now, the purpose of us doing this, according to State Board, they want us to shape it and everything so that way it resembles how someone's natural nail would be, okay? Because they want to make sure that you have the concepts down as to how to apply an acrylic nail. All right, so this is just me shaping, and you all listen, do not try to be fancy for this test, okay? The goal is for them to make sure that you know what you're doing, but you don't have to be extra, okay? So keep it minimal. As you can see, I just rounded off the little natural nail that we are making, and you can get the little fringes off and, around the nail so it's nice and neat. And then I'm going to take another tip. Now, what I would encourage you to do is only bring a tip or 2 or 3 that will actually fit this nail. Like, don't bring a size that doesn't fit because then you're making it worse on yourself. I'll place the glue on the tip and then apply it to the nail, and it'll apply it perfectly. So this second part, me actually applying the glue on the second tip, that's what you would do in front of state board, okay? So you don't have to do that part before you get to state board. This is actually going into what the exam will look like, okay? And so I'm just going to shape it regular. Listen, I am not trying to be fancy. We're going to hit them with the square. We're going to make sure that it's even. And we're going to keep it simple, okay? Do not try to be extra. I'm just removing the shine like I would normally do, blending in the tip with the natural nail like I would normally do. Just go through the steps. But as you can see, it's not moving around like it previously was, so it's helping me work better and eat more efficiently. All right, then I'm going to go in and dust off the extra particles. I'm going to go in and use my dehydrator only on the quote unquote base of the nail plate of the nail, not on the tip. Same thing for the primer. I'm going to place just a dab of the primer, close it up. Make sure you continue to close up and put away so that you work in a clean space. And then it's very vital, like I said earlier, to read the instructions. Do not assume that you know how this particular kit is going to work. Every manufacturer is different, and it's very important that we take a moment to read over what it's saying. All right, so according to this kit, it says allow 3 minutes to dry. Okay, 3 minutes for your acrylic application to dry. All right, or whatever kit that you decide to use, make sure you know how long they're saying to wait. They also encourage you to tap on the nail with the nail brush, so if it makes a loud clicking sound, you know that it is dry. So I'm going to go in and do my application, but remember to take out some of the product so you won't contaminate your whole jar of polymer. All right. And then I'm going to go in and just pull a little bead. I also have a little hair in there, so I'll get that out. Okay, so I'm just wanting to show you that I'm getting out the little hair particles, but then I'm going to also show you like how to pull another bead because I felt like it wasn't focused. Okay, so now I'm going to wet my brush a little bit to smooth that out. One thing that is good about this is that it has, time for you to work with it as opposed to a lot of the other acrylics that are not odorless. They dry pretty quickly. So I'm just blending in. Again, not trying to be fancy. Again, the state board wants to know that you are familiar, that you are aware, okay? But you don't have to be doing high apexes and all of this stuff, okay? Apply that product on there enough, okay? Because if you notice, I'm making sure that it is enough product on there, not too thin, because when you file it off, you won't have enough. I see that there's a little divot at the free edge, so I'm going to blend in so that way I can see how much product I need to add, or if I need to add any product. Make sure you turn your nail around and check it. And then I'm just getting a small bead just to put at the free edge. Okay, wiping off my brush, then wetting it a little bit more, and then just blending. Right? When you use less is more, you can always add. It's hard to take away. Okay? Yeah, these little hair fibers is working me. But here we go. Let's put just a little bit at the cuticle area and finish this off. As you can see, that's how much I got. I'm not going on top of the cuticle area. I'm going right behind where I left off. Okay, making sure that I leave a hairline space in between. We want to do this on our little practice fingers because that way we'll be used to doing it, and so we'll do it on a client. Again, I'm turning it around just to see, what needs to be cleaned up. and then I'm going to give it the 3 minutes that it needs to dry, okay? And while I do that, I'm going to clean up my space. Okay, all you got to do is dump out onto your paper towel and then put the top onto it. But do you see those little spots? It's from me touching the bottom of it and contaminating it. Whereas if I was to put that in my whole, if I was to work with the whole jar of polymer, then that would be stuck in there of my whole jar. Don't do that. You clean the dapping dish out too. All right, so now my 3 minutes have passed and I'm about to go in and shape my nail. As you can see, there is an inhibition layer. It is rolling off. Okay, so that's what odorless acrylic does. But it's okay. I put enough on my nail, so it's still going to be some left. Okay, and I'm just shaping and smoothing out the nail. Again, my goal is to just showcase that I know what I'm doing, right? And then what I'm going to do is get a buffer and I'm going to just smooth it out. And then once I have it all nice and smooth, then I'm going to just do a quick polish, okay? And then what you can do is use a lint-free wipe and some alcohol and do the S motion just to make sure that you got all of the debris off. And normally it just takes a few seconds and then you can go right into your polishing. Make sure you shake your polish really good. And make sure that we are holding the nail polish professionally, okay? Practice it and that way you will perfect it. All right, so my goal is to go in and I'm only working with polish on one side of my brush. That way I have more control. And then I'm going in and doing my application. I see that in the corner I can get a little bit more on there. And then I'm going to cap my free edge. And whatever I get too close to the skin, I go in and clean it up right away, no delays. And then I just let that dry. One coat is enough. I just wanted to see if there is any like bumps and bruises or anything. And just so you all can see that it works. All right, I hope this video helps you. I'm so excited for you to pass your practical and your written state board exam. Congratulations in advance.